Oh, there we go. Welcome to the Township of Springfield, County of Union, State of New Jersey meeting for June 25th, 2024. This meeting is being held in accordance with the public laws of 1975, Chapter 231, and adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by a notice sent to the Star Ledger, the local source, and posted in the main lobby of the municipal building and on the Township website. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Mark Krause, who is retired captain of the American Legion, Post 228.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please stay standing for a moment of silence for our soldiers overseas and at home. Thank you. Roll call.
Mayor Weber.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Laufer.
Present.
Committeeman Capitis is absent. Committeeman Huber. Committeeman Kaiser.
Here.
All right. I am going to skip all of the announcements, and I'm going to go straight to the proclamations, because what we have here is we got a lot of girls who have practices for club teams and everything else. All right. The world is filled with accomplishments that are firsts and mark history. The 1923 Yankees are the first ones to win the World Series for their club. The 69 Mets, first ones to win for their club. The 2024 Jonathan Dayton girls softball team is the first team to win a county championship for Jonathan Dayton and for Springfield, and the first one in 70 years. This team will forever be listed as the first to do it. In 100 years, they will look back and go, 2024 team did it. So you are history sitting here right now. On day one of the season, I don't know if Linda's here, if Linda Ianta's here, but on day one, I told Linda, I said, they're gonna win a county championship. And we sat there, and Gary, and all of us dads, and Anthony, and Billy, and Scott, we all sat there and talked, and we all sat there and said, they're gonna win. And Linda believed it. And Linda's been in the business a long time, and she said, they're a good team. She said, I've watched them last year, and she thought she could do it. And then we have Coach Dave Rennie. He put the girls through the paces and had them working hard and sharp every weekend, and every practice, every game. And I know because my daughter would come home an absolute mess from practice, and I knew that he was preparing them for a rough year. And he was trying to get their full potential out. As a parent of one of the players, I have to thank him, Coach Rennie, his coaching staff, Katie Gibson and Chris Moore, team managers Gianna, Julie, and Ava, team trainer Mrs. T, Mrs. Triano, and of course Frank, who keeps our field in shape all the time. We love Frank, right? We love Frank. For my fellow parents, this championship is yours to be proud of for sure. This is why you got up, took your daughter as early as 5 a.m. at times, as home as late as 11 p.m. at times, from rec ball to storm ball, which is how every one of these girls over here started, just like you, to club ball, which you'll end up eventually playing, to varsity, high school softball, which you will end up playing. You parents, you sat in 100-degree plus heat all weekend. You ate subs from Wawa from every part of the state. You can deny it all you want, but I know everybody, we all eat Wawa. We rely on Wawa. Also, your child could succeed and be the best player and teammate that they could be. So enjoy this moment as what you have accomplished as a family team. So it's with great pleasure that I read this Township proclamation. After, I'd like Coach Rennie to come up and say a few words about his Union County Championship team, and then a picture, but let me get onto this proclamation, because Whereas the Jonathan Dayton Bulldogs softball team won the Union County tournament for the first time in Jonathan Dayton softball history on their way to an impressive 22-7 season. And whereas this is the first Union County tournament title for any sport at Jonathan Dayton High School since 1954, a span of 70 years. And whereas we are gathered here on this occasion as friends, family, and neighbors of the Jonathan Dayton softball team to congratulate them on their achievements this season. And whereas the Township of Springfield desires to express its admiration for these athletic accomplishments. Now, therefore, I, Chris Weber, Mayor of the Township of Springfield, on behalf of the Township Committee, do hereby recognize and congratulate the Jonathan Dayton Bulldogs softball team and its coaching staff for the hard work and dedication exhibited by them during this softball season, and recognize the exceptional magnitude of their accomplishments. Be it further proclaimed that June 25th, 2024 is declared to be the Jonathan Dayton Bulldogs Softball Recognition Day, and that all residents are encouraged to express their admiration to the members of the Jonathan Dayton Bulldogs softball team and their coaching staff. Now, before we take a picture, I would like Coach Rennie to come on up, if he would. Yeah, the mic should be on. If not, let me.
Yes,
on.
it is.
You can take it off of there if you want.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
That's okay. First of all, I want to thank Mayor Weber and the Township Committee for honoring us tonight. Mayor Weber, if I knew you predicted a county title, I don't know if I would have been able to handle that pressure, so I'm glad I didn't know. Last night, we were honored at the Board of Education meeting, and I touched upon towards the end of my talk, after speaking glowingly about the incredible young ladies on this team, about how they inspired so many youngsters tonight, so it's only fitting that we have a lot of them here tonight. So I want to touch on that a little bit more about what incredible role models these high school girls are. What does it mean to be a role model? It means you have others looking up to you. It means you are going about your day-to-day life the right way. The players on this team are exceptional role models for the young girls in town, not just because they are fantastic softball players, not just because we won a county title. When the youth players come to see this Dayton team play, they see players who work together and support one another. They see bench players who are as into the game as the players on the field. They see a level of enthusiasm I have not seen in all my years of coaching, and it's quite a few. They see players who embrace the challenge of competition and have fun doing it. I want to ask the girls if they remember the word I used last night to talk about this team. Synergy. Boy, we're gonna beat them over the head with that word in the years to come. So synergy means the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. The individual pieces of this team are incredible. Every single one of these players contributed to this team. But you put those individual parts together, and like synergy means, the whole is definitely greater than the parts, as proven by the county title and just an incredible year. As was mentioned by Mayor Weber, this team made history on May 20th by winning the county title. But even if we didn't win the county title this year, for the first time in school history, it wouldn't have changed my opinion about these young ladies. It wouldn't change Coach Moore's or Coach Gibson's opinion of these young ladies. I'm fairly certain it wouldn't change the opinion of the parents of the players about these young ladies. Besides receiving a trophy and having a banner hung at school, besides the players receiving a medal, besides being honored by the Board of Education and the Township Committee tonight, winning the UCT provided the platform to speak about what an incredible group of young ladies make up this Dayton softball team. It is truly an honor to coach them. So let's talk about the game for a little bit. Girls, are you tired of hearing about the game? No. Good, because I'm not tired of talking about it. Anyway, so we couple days earlier, we had won the semifinals against a very good Cranford team. Third time we beat them this year, at Kane University. So we were coming back for the finals on that Monday night, May 20th, to play Scotch Plains. And I mentioned this last night as a coach. In a situation like that, you wonder if the team is going to be able to rise to the occasion, if the pressure is going to get to them, something we hadn't experienced before. And honestly, I've never seen as enthusiastic as this team is on a day-to-day basis. I never saw anything like that night and how enthusiastic they were. They were so focused and so ready for that game. Lila Carroll pitched an incredible game. Our defense was probably the best game we've ever played. We went out to a 5-1 lead, and I wouldn't say we were cruising into the 7th inning, but we were pretty comfortable, fairly comfortable. We needed 3 outs to win, and Scotch Plains, as we expected, was not going to lay down and let us beat them. They came back, did a great job putting some hits together, and before you knew it, it was 5-5. We were coming off the field to bat in the bottom of the 7th. This is a little repetitive from last night, but Coach Gibson and I were talking about how we needed to get the team together to talk about, get them psyched up for the bottom of the 7th, put that top of the inning behind them and get ready. But before we could do that, Angie Gatto got the team together, gave an incredible speech to get the team ready. And it worked on her for sure, because when she got up with 2 outs and 2 strikes, and I'm in the third base box thinking, this game may go into extra innings, and with the momentum shifting, it would have been tough. And next pitch, she made history, probably leaving a dent in that concession house out in right field. No doubt about it, walk-off home run. It was magical. I've described it as surreal, but even that doesn't give it justice. You couldn't have written a script any better than that. I think it would get turned down by Hollywood if you brought that script to them. It was that surreal. And that magical. So with that, I just want to say thank you, obviously, to the players for an incredible year, and I know we have great things to come, even though we're losing 4 incredible seniors. Parents have been an incredible support, not only for their own daughters, but for the entire team. My assistant coaches, Chris Moore, just an incredible job first year with the team. He's going to be heading to FMG to coach the middle school softball team, so we're grateful for that. And of course, Katie Gibson, who's been coaching with me for 3 years. And I mentioned earlier about role models. I can't think of a better female role model for these female high school players than Coach Gibson. Thank you, Coach Gibson. And coincidentally enough, just to finish up, I met earlier with Brian Brendel. He's part of the Springfield Softball Association, and we just talked about, like, how do we keep this train rolling forward? How can we support them? How can they support us? And we knocked around a bunch of great ideas, and I'm going to make a promise tonight that the young ladies sitting to my left and the ones who couldn't make it tonight are going to make a commitment to be a big part of the young ladies' lives to my right, and through clinics and practices and lunches, and we're going to make a connection here. We've made it in the past, but we're going to raise it up a notch, and it's going to be something to behold to see the connection that the different age groups make all around the game of softball. But you learn a lot of life lessons through the game of softball, and we're certainly going to do the best we can to keep that going. So thank you again. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Storm Girls, you're next. To give you an idea of how big the program is, when Ashley started, and I guess everybody who in this sitting there, I think we did a count. I think it was about 70 girls total in all grades that was involved in Storm and Rec and everything else. We're up to 180 now almost. So that's a lot. If I can get you to come up, we'll take a picture. I have a proclamation for everybody to hand out, and you're out of here. Thank you.
Only one. Legally up here. We're elected official. Yeah. Fine, please. Good.
Oh, how are you? Good to see you.
Didn't ordinance for it, but it comes out of the ordinance. No, no, no. I don't.
I'm going to call for a 5-minute recess. You guys can do whatever you want. We're going to hold off tight over here, so 5-minute. Back in session. Thank you for that special moment for our softball team. We're going to move on to proclamations announcements. Springfield residents ages 55 plus, the calendar for July 2024 is out. I am looking at the calendar right now, and every day is filled. So fantastic stuff happening at Chisholm Center. Pick the calendar up at the Chisholm Center or pick it up online and print it out. Springfield Library is hosting Summer Reading Kickoff with Ron Albanese, Wednesday, June 26th at 7 p.m. in front of Town Hall. Bring your lawn chairs or blankets and enjoy the Kiddie Rock and Roll Show. I read that wrong. It's a Kiddie Rock and Roll Show. Okay. That is Wednesday, June 26th at 7 p.m. Oh, that actually looks like fun. You can find this also online. Celebrate Pride, Springfield Community Pool, Saturday, June 29th, 12 to 3, free admission, music, Zumba classes, swimming, art, crafts, and more. That is June 29th, 12 to 3. Blood Drive at Chisholm Community Center, Wednesday, July 3rd from 1:30 to 7:30. Free Mets t-shirt and tickets. Register at nybc.org/sponsor. Use code 70915. So that also will be online. Please, there's still a blood shortage across America. Wednesday, July 3rd, 1:30 to 7:30. If you can get there, you might have a chance to win some Mets tickets and t-shirts. All municipal buildings will be closed July 4th, Thursday. The 4th of July celebration is at 5 p.m. at Mizell Avenue Park. Free admission, food trucks, petting zoo, pony rides, DJ, and more. Fireworks will be at dusk. The Springfield Library hosts Grand Funk Railroad, a quirky, eclectic, eccentric mix of forgotten favorites. Thursday, July 11th, 7 p.m. at Town Hall. Bring your lawn chairs and blankets. Rain date is Thursday, July 18th. Wow. Grand Folk Railroad. I read that wrong too. I was going to say, I love Grand Funk Railroad. But okay, I will go with Grand Folk Railroad also, and I will see what's happening there. That sounds like fun. Update on the farmer's market. Allstead Farm will be changing their hours from 1 to 6 p.m. due to lack of sales from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The market will still open at 11 a.m. for the other vendors, which include Picklelicious, The Baker, Unique Snacks, Urban Cone, and Refresh and Flourish by Nature. Cousins Maine Lobster will be there July 8th and the 22nd. The next committee meeting is not going to be on a Tuesday. It's going to be on Wednesday, July 17th at 7 p.m. So mark your calendars. Wednesday, July 17th at 7 p.m. The township wishes to express its condolences to the family of firefighter Antonio DeCampos. Township committee expresses its condolences, and the family's requesting everything remain private at this point. So we are sorry, and if there is anything we can do, let us know. Okay, we're going to move on now to public comment on agenda items only. Public comment on agenda items only. I do not have any emails from the public. And if anybody has anything, come on up to the mic. Seeing none, we're just going to end public comment. Nothing happening. And move straight on to reports with our administrator report and BA John Basicolo.
Mayor, do you want to go to our forester?
Oh, let's get that out of the way. Yeah, sure. You want to do that first? Okay. Hi, Keith. Come on up, you grab a microphone, if you can, try to talk into it as, you know, loud as you can, so we can have the audience outside here.
Well, just for the record, I'm also a big fan of Grand Funk Railroad. So.
See? You know, if I remember right, they sold out Shea Stadium, the fastest sellout ever at the time in '72 or something like that. They sold out in like, I don't know, a minute or something like that.
Mark Farner.
Yeah.
Did we close public comment?
Yeah, public comment is closed. I'm gonna need the mic a little bit higher, or just grab it or whatever, I don't know.
Okay, is that better?
I don't know. Tamara, is that better? Just talk into it, and we'll pray
Okay.
for the best.
So,
Well,
We're gonna discuss,
you guys wanted him to explain the tree ordinance.
correct, which is
That's not on today's.
on the agenda. Okay.
It was on the last one, and I know there were some questions, so.
okay, so the New Jersey DEP, for any town that has a municipal stormwater discharge permit, it has to adopt a town community-wide ordinance for tree removal and replacement based upon the DEP's model ordinance. And that's what we have now, that's what we're working on. I understand there's some questions on that, so I'm here if anyone has any concerns or questions, I'm more than happy to answer that for you. Is there anything specifically you want to know about this, or?
Well, I would just like run through exactly like
The breakdown of it, of what's
breakdown
happening.
of,
Sure.
let's break down the proposed ordinance and how this will affect our residents, and then,
Okay.
and then we'll run into questions.
What's changing and why?
Yeah.
So the changes are, the big part of this, and every town is dealing with this, is the tree replacement program. You have to come up with a table of X amount of trees depending upon the size of the tree that's removed. You have to replace the trees either on that property or another town property with a specific amount of trees, or if you don't, then you contribute money per tree to the town, to the tree replacement fund. Okay? So the differences between this ordinance and our previous ordinances, right now, the minimum tree was 4 inches and above would require a permit. Of course, we don't have any tree replacement program at this time. That's being raised to 10-inch minimum tree. And also what we propose in this new ordinance is your first 2 trees in a 12-month period, if they're under 16 inches diameter, do not require a permit. Okay? We're also going to want to put in there any dead or diseased trees or high-risk trees that are determined by me or another New Jersey licensed tree expert will be omitted from the permit. The reason why we're doing that is to try to give a little reprieve to the residents, because this is restrictive and punitive to the residents. You know, in the past, if you're taking down, let's say, a 24-inch oak tree and it's costing you $2,500, now you got to contribute money for 4 trees, and right now that's at $400 a tree. So you either got to plant 4 2.5-inch caliber trees on your property, or give the town $1,600. That could be a pretty heavy load on a resident who's already paying the high cost of having that tree removed. So that's why we have here where you can remove 2 trees up to 16-inch in a 12-month period without having to deal with that. We raised the minimum size of the tree, and right now the permit is still $75 just for the permit. That's my time to go out and do the inspection. But any tree above that, is over those 2 trees, is right now is $100. We're reducing that to $50 for a tree above the 2-tree minimum. Okay, so we're trying to come to a middle ground here with this. There are some other things we can do with this if we needed to. I can work with my team on that, possibly things such as maybe reducing the cost of the per tree, which is $400. We came up with that $400 per tree because that's what the town spends on its current vendor when we plant our 50 trees a year in town, the street trees. That's the cost of the tree planted, and quite frankly, that's an excellent cost that we have for doing that. A typical homeowner, if they were to have a tree planted, depending upon the species, would typically run from $400 to $700, depending upon the size of the tree and the species. So this is something we have to do. It is a law by the DEP. I spent a lot of hours at seminars. I have a lot of acquaintances in this industry who are very much involved in this, and we've had a lot of discussions on this, and we're all come up with the same thing. Every town is a little different. They have different needs. But I will tell you, for example, if you'd like to hear some of our neighbors, let's take Milburn next door, our nice neighbors next door. Let's say, for the sake of discussion, we're talking about just a 22-inch caliper tree, or 22-inch diameter tree. Right now in Milburn, if you take that, you have to plant or purchase to the town for 5 trees. And that's at $250 a piece, so that would be $1,250 you have to give the town if you weren't planting those trees on your property. Madison's 5 trees are $400 a piece. That's $2,000 you'd have to give to the town. Springfield, we have for a 22-inch diameter tree is 3 trees of $400, that's $1,200. So you can see for just a small example, we're at the lower end of that scale of what the residents have to pay the town. My assumption is because of the extra cost of this, I think we're going to have some people that are on the cusp of removing trees on their property. I think that's going to go down because of the cost, the additional cost of this. But the good thing out of this is that my job as an urban forester is not just the safety of its residents and their property, but to eventually have the goal of 0 net loss on trees in the community, because the importance of trees, it's not just the community and the environment, and everyone in this community benefits from it. So I did crunch some numbers, and I'm going to go through this because it's a little lengthy, but if we were to stick to the amount of trees that we have, to the trees that we're taking down, looking at the history of trees so far, year to date, we would meet that goal of planting enough trees to have a 0 net loss. Of course, that can change, and I'm assuming things like variables of the 16-inch trees and things like that. So, again, this was actually, technically, every town was supposed to have this ready to go by May 1st, but us and a lot of other towns in the state are still working and struggling to put this together because it's, again, it's kind of punitive to the residents. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. If anyone has any other concerns or questions, I'd be more than happy to answer that.
Water is our major concern here, you know, water. Do you feel this impacts us at all in terms of absorption and dissipation?
That's the whole goal of the DEP doing this. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that, but there's already been numerous instances in town where people wanted to take down some large deciduous trees in their backyard that were healthy, and I talked them out of it because of the importance and the value of stormwater mitigation that trees do. It's really a tremendous asset to the community. As we know, Springfield has some issues with wet properties, and the more trees we plant, specifically larger shade trees, the better the town can deal with that. It does make a difference in the long run.
My question's from, and I guess we're all curious, when you have a tree of that size, it really does make that much of a difference in a yard in terms of spongy ground, or is that tree really able to absorb that much water?
Yeah, this is, my part-time semi-retirement job. I was in the industry for 40 years, and my company I worked for was a large private tree company. We had a lot of high-end residential properties and commercial properties that I dealt with. I have seen a couple of trees taken down a rear yard, trying to tell these residents not to do that, and their basement flooded.
Because the tree was removed?
Because these trees were removed, that's correct. It does make a big difference. Stormwater mitigation is the whole reason of this ordinance from the DEP, to try to reduce the discharge of stormwater.
Question. Have we looked at, you mentioned Milburn and you mentioned Madison. Have we looked at any other towns? I mean, to me, like, $400 seems pricey.
It is, but my point I was making before is, I think the whole thing with this ordinance, we have to keep at least the minimum standards of the DEP's model ordinance. Now, they have X amount of trees. We actually tweaked it down a little bit, made it a little less punitive, the
So
amount of trees.
it's not just shovel ground, insert tree, right?
Sorry?
It's not shuffle ground, insert tree. Like there's standards that we need to.
Oh, yeah, there has to be a
Okay.
restoration plan that I get, and I discuss with the homeowner on the suitable species for their property. For example, a lot of these properties in Springfield are gonna have to wet site tolerant trees planted. And I do have a tree replacement list that we put on the website for that. What was the previous question? That was,
Price.
oh, that's right, I'm sorry. So what we can do is we can play with that number. And I played around on a spreadsheet with some different amounts of that cost to the town, should they not plant. Even if we were to reduce that, let's say to 250, for example, what Milburn's doing, although Milburn has a higher amount of trees.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's 2 trees at 250 or 1 tree at 500, as long as the standards are met, it's the same money.
Well, but yeah, what I'm saying is if we reduce the cost per tree of the town from 400 to 250, what I'm interested in doing, that would reduce the amount of money that the person would have to pay the town should they not want to plant trees. We're not going to change the number of trees, just the cost per tree. And I crumped some numbers with that 250, and we still came up with a nice high amount of tree replacements to approach that net zero loss goal.
Sure.
When a resident decides to move or remove a large tree or two, is the goal to try to put a tree back in that area at that point?
That's up to the property owner.
So how do we go about then, I guess, and I'll jump to this question off of yours. If we're going back, where do we cite then our new trees? Like this fund at the end of the year, you take the amount of money we have and then the township goes out and plants trees, correct?
Correct.
Where do we cite those and what's the diameter of those trees versus?
The diameter of the town plants, actually, when you get to those trees, it's technically right, it's called caliper of nursery stocks. The caliper is 2.5 inches for either the town planted trees, which we have done here historically and just did this spring, and that is also the specifications on the new ordinance for the homeowner. If the town was to plant trees, we're going to be planting them along the right-of-ways on the streets and the parks. We could do it on the school properties. And any town property, we could plant the trees with a space and it can accommodate the tree. Now, again, in the ordinance, it's written that that money is to be used for a tree replacement fund and dedicated to the cost of maintaining the trees. So how exactly that would be brought out and paid into the town specifically, I think that would leave that up to the DPW or the town to decide exactly where that money goes to.
I guess then the natural question is, on average, how many, because I think we've had this tree fund replacement for a number of years, if I'm not correct. How many trees have we planted over the last few years?
There is no tree there is no tree replacement ordinance right now for homeowners.
Didn't we have but wait, we have a permit, so
that
where
money
was
does
that,
go into a
where was
fund.
that money then going?
That money does go into a fund.
Okay, and
Used for tree replacement.
so in the past few years, I'll repeat the question, in the past few years, how many trees have we planted?
Well, we usually,
you have that number?
I haven't been here that long, but I do.
No, I'm not saying that necessarily you would have that number, I would hope somebody would.
I can tell you, I'm sorry.
And you can get back to me at a different time?
Yeah, I would rather get back to you with an accurate number.
Accurate number?
Yes.
And since you're getting back with an accurate number, I would like to know how much over the past few years we've collected, breakdown by year, and then how many we have decided to plant by year. And going off of this, would we have in this ordinance, would we have a set date, right? Are we building up the money year 1, year 2, year 3, or are we taking and looking at the end of the year, hey, we've brought in $500 this year, we're going to spend that $500 X amount of money to plant new trees? Or are we going to look at it in a different over a couple year cycle? Like how long will it take to build up and what's our plan with that?
Well, I think that's maybe above my pay grade, exactly as far as that goes. But I think as far as the amount of money that would come in, just doing some scenarios, it's going to be quite a bit amount of money. And we're talking, possibly 80 to over $100,000.
In a given year, will you take down that many trees? I don't know.
Oh, sure. Well, year to date, we've taken down 210 trees on private properties.
210.
Right.
So-
So the town itself has taken down 50.
50. But we have a different mission. Naturally, as a township, we have a different mission. Getting off of those, because you'll get me those figures, and I would like to know how many trees we've taken down, and how many we've planted, and how much each year, and we can get a breakdown. I'll just go into, hey, where my initial concerns are. I don't know what do you have those numbers of each tree that is taken down, the diameter of those trees?
No, because in the past, the diameter was never needed.
It was never needed, so we
No,
wouldn't-
and the only time it was needed was to make sure it met the minimum size of 4 inches.
Yeah, so going forward with this new ordinance, we will be collecting that data.
We're going to have to, yes, of course, sure.
Hey, and if you were to take down, so a homeowner in 2025 could take down 2 trees on his properties under 16 inches. Could he then in 2026 take down another 2 trees that are 16 inches and not be charged?
If it's within that 12-month period from that date of application, he will be charged. Above.
But
that-
if it's not, I take it down January 1, I wait till January 1, 2026, I won't be charged.
That's correct.
That's correct.
For 16 and under, yes.
See, I would personally have some concerns doing that. I understand. I don't think we should be penalizing people for diseased trees, dead trees, unhealthy trees. I'm with that. I don't think a homeowner should be penalized. We want them, we want to encourage them to take that down because that's a health risk for not only them, but everybody around them. I don't know if a healthy 16-inch tree, we should be encouraging and not being punitive. I think the point is to try to encourage people to keep trees on their property, keep essentially healthy trees, keep going. So that 2 in a 12-month cycle, that's a lot. I don't know how often every homeowner up here is taking down trees. I would be a little concerned with every year they can take down 2 16. I'm a little concerned about that. I'm a little concerned that we've had a situation, right? We had a situation off of Route 22 where we had redevelopment. We were able to get quite a bit of money from a developer that had, let's be honest, I wouldn't say the healthiest of trees or trees that we would deem like actual natural trees, but we were able to get significant money from that developer because we went out there and caught the trees and they contributed an X amount of dollars to replanting. I would be concerned with letting potential future development like that skirt around this by claiming, yeah, those aren't sufficient trees. Well, at one point in time, that worked for us, so I'd be a little concerned about that. So take that back as we talk about this and develop this. I would also be, and I would like the data, and I think Committeeman Laufer asked for this. Milburn, Madison for sure, but maybe we go look at another. I don't know what Cranford's doing that has significant flooding. Let's look at some more towns, and maybe you can present that data to the Township Committee before it makes its determination, because Madison and Milburn are great, but not the whole picture. And last time I checked, Madison doesn't have significant flooding issues that we, Milburn, Cranford, in our area do. Although I love Madison, and they have a very passionate environmental committee and public works department, which takes care of that. So that's just some of my concerns before we move forward.
Can I just address something?
Yeah,
that
you can,
had?
please. This is a
Without
natural
without getting
back and
too
forth.
long-winded. And this is just a rough scenario on my part. So like I said, so far in private properties, we've taken down 210 trees year to date. Now, I'm going to assume that 30% of those trees, this is a guesstimate on my part, are under 16 inches. So that leaves 147 trees that were taken down. Now, assuming there's 140 trees have an average DVH or diameter of 22 inches, That would mean that 3 trees planted would be 441 trees. Now, I'm assuming 75% of those people will not be planting trees on their property because they either don't want them or they don't have the room. That would leave 110 trees planted by the homeowner and 331 trees left for the town. So if you look at the number of trees and revenue on that, and that's with assuming the first 2 trees in 12-month period are 16 inches and under, I think that having that give, I think, is important to the residents to have some kind of breathing room in this, because you can see the revenue on that, and the amount of trees I will have to planting, I think, is substantial in meeting our zero net loss.
Can I ask one? To be fair, I don't know if that's my, net zero is not, right? I don't want people taking down trees if they're healthy, if they can avoid it. I think that's the.
There are trees that, and I've done it here in town, a couple of times people wanted to take down a tree, very large shade trees that were very healthy, and I declined it. I have the right to enforce that.
And I agree with that. So, but that's hey,
That's a small amount.
Yeah, no, hey, and it should be small. I don't want to be telling property owners, but, you know,
Right.
you have a libertarian streak in not telling them what to do with their property. But I think part of this is encouraging that we are not taking down healthy trees. 16 inches to me, I don't know, maybe I'm off and not picturing it, but 16 inches to me seems rather large. And giving them the ability every 12 months to kind of, let's be honest, and I'll use Chris Weber as an example. Your property is a moderate, smaller thing. If you were to take down one tree, hey, that's your right. You were putting in a swimming pool. I can kind of see that. The people who are going to be able to skirt around this are people with large properties that have many, many, many trees. And yes, year 1, they're going to take down 2. Year 2, they're going to take down another 2, and they're going to wait. And I don't necessarily want to see that or encourage that. That's where I'm coming from.
And not to bring up Milburn again, but they're 18 inches on the 2 trees a year, just a food for thought. The other thing is, I failed to mention is also in here, is that if you can't, no matter what size tree, you can't take it down if it constitutes more than 50% of the trees on your property.
So if I have 2 trees on my property,
And you can't take
I
them
can't
down
take one down.
unless they're dead or diseased. Yeah.
Understood.
But you said you.
That's interesting.
You cannot
You
take,
cannot take it down.
You can
If I have 3 trees, I can take 1 down.
Correct, if it's, yes.
Just to make
Run
math
run
very
through
easy.
that again.
you said 50%.
Well, if it's not, no, you're right, more than 50% of the trees on your property. If you have 4 trees, you can take down 2, that's it.
If you have 2, you can take it on 1.
That's correct.
Interesting. Final question, at least for me. By your math, you said we as a town would need to plant 400 and something trees, right?
In this scenario, yes.
In
a
your
rough
scenario,
yeah.
I'm going with 100% your numbers, we have 441. I feel like we're running into a space issue.
Yeah, and that's why I asked, and I details on what exactly is the funds from the tree replacement fund for the town is also stated as, part of maintaining the trees. How does that get diversified?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know that answer to that.
Like,
How much would just be specific for planting, other for maintaining?
Got it. Like, I'm just seeing like a large lot somewhere in town with 400 trees.
1,000 trees on it,
planted.
yeah.
Like, we'll film Star Wars in that lot,
No,
like
I
Endor.
agree with you. That's why I think there needs to be that question answered on those funds. Is that
Yeah,
right?
okay, I'm good, thank you.
My final,
I'd like to say just one thing. I thought it was very good and very informative. You guys wrote the letters, I know on Rose Avenue, saying that you're gonna start taking dead trees down and all that.
Yeah.
So I have neighbors that protested a little bit. You explained everything to them, what was gonna happen. I thought it was very good. I don't know if you sent them out to other neighborhoods in town. I know our neighborhood got it. I thought it was very good.
this talk gives me a headache, and I'll tell you why.
Over and over again.
I'll tell you why it gives me a headache, because you got homeowners who are gonna wanna remove the trees, they're gonna still in the same sentence complain about the water in the area. This is not a winning situation no matter what we do. It gives me a headache. Because there are people who are gonna be in flood areas or low-lying areas who are gonna wanna take a tree out because it's just a pain, or they wanna put a pool in, or they want a playground in the yard, whatever. And then I don't have an answer. I will trust it to you guys for right now.
Can you change
Yeah,
the
you
ordinance?
trust it to you guys to come up what's going on.
Can you change the ordinance instead of, if I have 4 trees, I can take 2, or say, 8 trees on my property, I can take 2 down this year and 2 down next year. Can we, some way do it, and I don't know if it's legal or correct, or to say we can't, after 2 trees are down, or a percent down, you can't keep on doing it every year.
Honestly, I'll disagree with all of you. I don't mind if you're taking them down, but if you are, there should be a penalty. That's where I'm at. I understand we have but you have a property. If you want to take down a tree, okay, but there's a penalty to that. I don't understand why we're letting people skirt around with taking potentially 2 down. It's no different than anybody else. If you're taking it down, there's a permit. We don't let somebody with a water heater, you've replaced your water heater every 5 years. Yeah, you get a pass on this time. No, there's a fee to that. So if you're taking a tree, I think there's a penalty. I'm not necessarily for saying, hey, no, you shouldn't take down that tree, but there should be a penalty and a fee to the town that is paid. We have a town forester. We have other trees to maintain. We should be trying to collect as much revenue as that. Not hammering. I'll make it certain. If you have a diseased tree or a dead tree, I'm not for penalizing you. I think we should encourage that, taking it down. But anything else, if it is healthy, 16 inches seems a lot large. I think there's a number that we can come up with, but there should be a fee associated with that.
So why don't you sit with them and
I would be happy.
come up with it, okay?
Sure.
We'll talk about this all night long, but I agree with you. I mean, this way, you can tell them your opinion and try and get together and just sit there and get some kind of ordinance, so everyone's happy.
And I'll come up with some numbers for you, okay, and I'll get it over to you. Sure.
And I agree. I think. And with this, but I think you're right. I with the number 400, that to me seems a lot, but compared to our neighboring towns who are more, I'm not for whacking you over the head to make it impossible. But there should be a penalty if you're taking down any sizable tree, and 16 inches to me seems sizable. And definitely love the approach of not hammering people with diseased trees. And we want to make sure they come down right. We had a whole issue with what bug was it that was infesting, right?
Emerald ash borer.
Yeah, we shouldn't be hitting people over who, are getting diseased trees, because that's a problem.
We're still dealing with that.
100%. So 16 inches just seems a little big to me, but I'm happy to work, and I'm sure there's a compromise.
Mayor, I have a huge oak in my, behind my house. And I had the forester come out and look because I have visions of this coming down.
Down the storm.
And he said to me, do not take that tree down, right? He said, I wish I had that in my yard. It's a healthy tree. And he looked at it and everything, so my tree's still up. I mean, I don't want it down, but it made me nervous. So there you go.
Storm. Yeah, I will tell you that after meeting, you meeting with the Environmental Commission, I can tell you that you have the support of them. They trust you a lot. I'm assuming most house owners remove trees because of location on their property for what they want to do, center of the yard or whatever. Have you asked, are these homeowners receptive if trees were taken down, if trees were planted on the corner property line or anything like that? Is there a way to entice them to put another tree in another location in their property maybe?
People that aren't tree people that want their trees down are because they're getting acorns in their gutters, or they're getting,
Right.
Samaras from maples on their deck or whatever, or the sweet gum, little spiky balls we all see, right? So people, that's the people who don't like trees that want the trees down. But I also think those people that are gonna probably, that amount's gonna drop down because of this extra cost, I think, of taking these trees down. As I said, we took down 210 trees year to date on private properties. I think this time next year it's gonna be less.
if Linda wanted to take that tree down, let's say she did, and she agreed to replace trees on her property in a different location, do we have a discount program or something? Could we get them trees to replace at a rate that the township could buy the trees at? Or, you know, if it's just a location problem and somebody says, hey, I'm putting a pool in, I want to take this tree down or so on, is there something that could be done to get them a tree in another piece of the property?
I think we could, right now, the vendor we use, Serbo, who does a great job, it's possible we could discuss with them, maybe if you're a resident of Springfield, maybe get a break on that, because they do a lot of work in town.
Yeah, meaning if we took a tree down, instead of paying the fee, let's say the fee is $400, and you can get a tree for $400 and agree to plant it in a different location in the yard, does that work for us, kind of?
I did speak with the owner of that company, gave him a heads up about the new ordinance. I said, a lot of you nurseries are gonna be very busy with this. So you may want to think about how you want to deal with this as far as pricing goes.
Home
I
Depot
planted to
gift
see
card.
what
Yeah, maybe there's something that you guys can look at in terms of enticing homeowners to replant in different locations, and we can help them in some capacity with a township discount or something from your nurseries. And
Sure.
I guess, what do we do with this then? We just park it for now and
Robbie?
Let's get some more info before we do anything further.
We may likely have to depending on the nature of the proposed changes, we may have to reintroduce it,
okay.
but that'll depend on how it evolves.
Are we on a deadline for that?
No, this year, it would have to be done this year.
We have time with the ordinance. So now's the time to tweak it
Okay,
for us.
so we're, okay, then we'll work it out and figure it out.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good night.
Home Depot gift cards for the town.
That
Public
is a
safety.
headache. That is like a pool headache right there. I'm just gonna say that. Now let's move on to administrator reports with John Basicolo.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to touch on a couple things, if I may. From our tax assessor's office, I'm just going to give you a couple of highlights. She reviewed and inspected 67 permits for property improvement per the construction permits, including measuring of additions, pools, new homes, et cetera. We processed 11 200-foot lists, and we processed 14 OPRA requests. That's in the tax assessor's office. For our building department, we had 76 new permits were issued for the month, and we collected $32,594. From engineering, our capital plan for '24 is milling and pavement improvements on Kane Street, Christie Lane, Edgewood Avenue, Henshaw Avenue, Surrey Lane. Henshaw Park tennis courts, the only thing we've got left is clear coating and striping will be applied in the very near future to the courts. They're just about done.
Can I ask you a question real quick on that one?
Sir.
Henshaw, is that pickleball only now, or is that gonna be pickleball and
No,
tennis?
that's for both.
Both.
That's both,
Yeah,
okay.
we lined it so you could use it for both.
Okay,
People just make stuff up online.
yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out, thank you.
Okay. Milltown and Smithfield, you know, we got the New Jersey DOT grant. Design work is commenced, and a July 5th, our July bid is anticipated. Union County Community Year 50 will be receiving $120,000, and that's for pavement and improvements on Pitt Road. Project design and bidding will be performed in-house. Field measurements and drawings prepared as commenced, and fall construction is anticipated for that. That is all I have there. From zoning, there were 45 permits issued for the month in zoning. I wanted to touch a little bit on police activity, because I think sometimes, I think we're all under the impression that, you know, we're a quiet, sleepy town. But just to give you a couple of numbers that I found actually very interesting, was calls for the month of May to police were 1,223 calls for the month. So, I mean, they're quite busy. You know, again, I think we think we're a sleepy little town, but kind of shows you we're really not. They are quite busy. We issued 438 tickets for the month also. John, was there anything else you wanted to add that it's a highlight that maybe I left off?
We did have that armed robbery occurred last
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
John? I forgot about this. Yesterday I was coming down Morris Avenue. There were two police cars on Morris Avenue by Gomes. Because the fence was coming down, or the fence was.
Yep.
all that and all that. But there were cars that were, going in the right lane and cutting over to the left.
Yeah. We have that problem constantly.
Because, I mean, you have two police cars there, and they were there for the fence, but I saw three cars do it, one car was pulled over. I mean, I understand they're there for the fence to protect the public and all that, but I mean, I think, it's a big thing there. Just to put, somebody there could make us pay in a month. I mean, the way they, people ignore that. I was just surprised, like, nobody got pulled over.
For our fire department, again, I think everybody knows that they are always very busy. For the month of May, they responded to 391 calls, so they were very busy. Year-to-date, just to let you know, there are 1471 for the year. Let's talk about our DPW real quick. PSC&G continues to upgrade their system all over town. Once the work is done, they will meet with DPW on repaving the streets. Any questions on the restoration should be directed to DPW. Yes, Committeeman Huber.
Is that what's going on right behind us here in that street?
On Brook Street, that's a PSE&G project.
What are they doing, putting,
Well, they're upgrading the mains, and they're making connections
all right, I just,
back into the residential homes.
So again, what we're gonna do is make sure that when they go to pave, we're gonna try to get them to pave, not just where they've cut out.
Yeah, so there's streets that are under the moratorium, which they're obligated to pave, but a lot of these streets, like Garden Oval, is not under a moratorium, but they're gonna be paving that whole street based on how much work was done. So we're gonna look at what they did when they're done, and we'll see how much we can get back from them.
Signage, I think people will notice that on the parks, there's several signs missing. That's because they were wooden, so we've removed all of them, replacing with new ones.
Where is this?
All the parks. Our jitney bus, you know that we had a recall on that. We actually did very well. The jitney bus was done today. Mr. Betcher took it. Actually, did we take it over or did they come here?
No, I had them come down here, they did it in between the service, and they replaced this CME oil sender unit, which was recalled, and it's back in service, so.
We were actually kind of like pit road. We pulled in between, they jacked it up, did it, and boom, guy took off again.
So there was no loss in service. So
We missed nothing.
Yes.
The replacement of the signs, are they gonna be wooden again?
No, we're gonna use a different material, so we. did get
If you happen to leave tonight, I did replace the annex sign, and for longevity reasons, I changed it from wood to vinyl. And I'm using the same color scheme that I have here, which is blue and white. And if you want to comment on it, but I'd like to do all the signs and have them all uniform.
As long as they look homey. You know, sometimes you get that vinyl and it's like,
Well, you can look at the one across the street when you go.
Take a look at it. I think it looks really good.
Yeah,
I'm sure I trust you, but you know what I'm
And it
getting at.
lasts.
You know, sometimes, yeah, I'm
That's the
down
key,
for it lasting,
yeah.
but you know, sometimes you get that like plastic feel and it's not.
Mm-hmm. yep. Take a look at it when you walk out tonight. Just a couple other things. E-waste drop-off has been extremely busy. And just remember, anything with a plug can go there. Vegetative waste, we're still very active there. And that leads us to the next item, camera systems. We're looking at putting cameras on, up there at 44 Marston on the recycling center, DPW on Center Street, and I think we're also looking here. We've had issues with people that shouldn't be dumping up at 44 Morrison, dumping there. So we need to have some camera coverage there so that we can take action when we catch someone.
I can't dump anymore, yeah?
No, it's not that. What's happening is it's not residents that are doing the dumping sometimes. We're actually getting
I'm gonna go at
commercial.
midnight and dump
No, we're getting commercial people going there
problem.
and dumping. So we need a way to have a camera, so we have a recording of it, so we can go after them.
I thought we already had, I thought you've caught people out here.
We did, we caught people actually out here, but again, the cameras are, we have no cameras here, so we are gonna put them in at DPW also. We talked about the American flags last meeting on Morris Ave. JCP and Verizon both gave permission, but I think that's something we still want to discuss and make sure with all the construction going on with Gomes and everything, do we want to do it at this point? Something for you to think about. We had to mention that there was benches missing at the pool, and they were replaced. DPW replaced those recently. Veterans Park was cleaned up. We removed all the old overgrown bushes. Ruby Park tree removal. We got a bid to remove the ash trees in that back lot. Highest bidder was at 49, the lowest guy was at 14.5, but we had some questions with him. So I don't know if that's, yeah, we're not sure yet. We're still exploring that one. But those trees are gonna need to come down in the not too distant future, the ash trees. On our sanitary stations, we opened up the bid on Joanna Pump Station the other day, and the low bidder we had a question on. Craig is looking into if that bid is acceptable, or because of some issues, it's gonna need to possibly be thrown out. We don't think the error is fatal, and that the low bidder on that actually fell in line with kind of where we thought the bid should be. So we'll let you know what happens there. But all of our stations, Summit, Marion, Johanna, Marion Storm Station, they all need work, and we are doing that. We're replacing pumps, impellers, et cetera, et cetera. Most of these are 50 years old.
Well, the Joanna station is 50 years old. The rest of these stations are between 15 and 20 years old with the pumps. You know, I'm talking about the pumps that are in them that we're actually replacing.
You know, we can't even get parts for half of them anymore. So we need to address this before it becomes an issue. Now, fortunately, we have a grant, which is going to cover a great deal of it. Diane, what do we get, 1.8? So all of that money is dedicated to our sewers. So that will be used, again, according to priorities. We will dictate what gets done, and we'll make sure that they're all, at least the money is encumbered before we lose it. On our developments, I think everybody noted that the fence fell yesterday down at Gomes on Caldwell. The sidewalk is open, if anybody's been down there. The problem is that the barriers haven't been removed in the street, and of course, we're having a discussion. So, when I met with the people up on site, actually, Mike Disco, myself, and Bob Herbert met with them on Monday, I think it was. We were told that by last Friday, they would pick the barriers up, they'd be out of the street. We got a letter today from their lawyer, said we never agreed upon that in writing, so not sure what you're talking about. So we're still haggling over getting those out of there. We want to get them out for a couple of reasons. We want to see what the street looks like. Because if you look there, there's where that pole fell, a lot of the blacktop on the street is cracked. So we're not sure if that street has been compromised in spots. So once the barriers are gone, we'll have engineering look at that and determine what needs to be done. You see that the brickwork or the stonework has been done on all of the three sides. The only thing that's not done is the courtyard in the middle that you really don't see from the street. So he's actually made fairly good progress. So we're getting closer day by day.
It is looking like a building.
It does.
It is looking like a building.
Mike and I, Disco, were up at Saks the other day. We walked it, went through it. I got to tell you, the amenity sections that they put in really were done very, very well. They got a huge pool, probably have enough for 100 people sitting out there. They've got 3 spots for a bar. Not that they have a liquor license, but if you wanted to have a party there. They have a huge entertainment room that you can rent, throw a party in. Their exercise facility was spectacular. Everything is tiled. They just really did not spare, the dollars. They did a great job on the amenities. The development is basically done. We're looking at a third to be rented in the apartments in June, July, and August, and then they're basically finished. Everything is paved and ready to roll.
Excellent.
How's
So-
the other, what do we call, church mall?
Church Mall Patriot Way, they started the foundation, so they're moving along, and once they get going, you're gonna see that's gonna go up very quickly.
Yeah, no.
Because obviously, it's the same builders as
Yeah,
Saks.
yeah, no, you know, you really didn't picture how large of a lot that is. but
Yeah.
it's a very large lot.
Exactly, exactly. So that's kind of where we are in the developments that are in progress right now. If there's any questions or comments, I'd be happy to answer.
When do they start paying us?
Some of the pilot money has started to come in. Diane, maybe you can comment on pilot money. Who have we seen from yet? I think Charlie sent Larkin. You're on.
I'm on. I actually believe it's the Saks money that we received, half of it so far.
We received some of
Because we
Saks?
bill them quarterly. So we've
That's
gotten,
good for 10 years, and then they start,
and then it goes to a different rate.
yeah.
The first 10 is fixed.
And again, I think everybody up here understands the purpose of a pilot. A pilot is done because without it, the development is not economically feasible, is what the developer has to prove before he gets a pilot. It's not just a given. He can ask for it, but unless he can prove by all of the figures that it's a necessity, he doesn't get a pilot program.
I just wanted to bring that up because I know a lot of people are questioning.
Understood.
Saying, oh, this guy's not paying taxes yet. I said,
No, and I agree, but again, sometimes, you gotta
And they're
take a
paying
little step
taxes on the
back.
land, too.
what?
They're also, the pilot has a separate tax for the land.
Or does it? I didn't even know. I thought it was just one pilot. No.
Yeah. So,
Thank you.
The Joanna pumping station, that handles the areas that flood the most, Alvin, Marion, Laurel, all that. Is that gonna be fixed sooner than later?
Well, that's going to depend on the bid. I mean, overall, it's going to take probably over a year.
that's.
Once
yeah,
the bid is
that's-
awarded, but we're not in jeopardy of any problems over there. We have one pump that's working, and it also has gravity drainage over there that's been working fine.
All right, so we're operational then?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We're
But
definitely up.
understand, that's a complete overhaul.
That's
We're
what the
replacing all
concern
the
is.
pumps. We've got to stop the water from infiltrating into the station, actually, because it's filling up. What else we do? We're doing electrical over there also.
We're doing electric also, yep.
Just
So I-
basically a brand new.
Yeah, it's top
Yes.
to bottom.
Yes.
But again, since we got that 1.8, now's the time to do it.
No.
No, that station handles Laurel, handles Riverside. I mean, those are the low-lying areas that get hit the worst. So that's what, as long as we're functional and they don't have anything to worry about, all right.
Takes about a year, that's good to know.
Yeah, because we had to order the pumps have to be ordered, and again, they're just everything's long lead time right now. So unfortunately, it can't be done overnight.
Is Fathom Road fixed?
As far as I know, J.C. P&L said that they had a circuit breaker that was smoking. So they took care of that. They said if by some chance, Mike, you were there, if by some chance they need more, they can switch that over to another substation.
Yeah, that's correct. They were hoping that there would be no outages that are not going to be happening that we currently don't have. They believe that they were able to isolate it fully and send that power out to Route 22 and distribute it that way. But they said no more significant outages if we don't already have one. This is probably going to take some time to get fixed because we had, I think, multiple circuits caught fire. It was mitigated quickly. Within 2 hours, they had the whole power shut down, that grid, and then, I guess, sent out across Route 22 into the rest of the town.
So they're saying right now that we'll be okay, because I guess what my concern is they went and bypassed and went to, I don't know if they can, another power station or Waverly or wherever, and then we get over, it's supposed to be really hot tomorrow, and then we get hit with that grid and
The way it sounds, I think it might be back up and running. They were talking about they can actually repair the circuits, and if they're hoping, once they get in there and they see how much damage is occurred inside those, I guess, those electrical components, they can possibly replace them and have it back up and running today.
okay.
When I talked to Scott late in the day, he said there was possibly one commercial building that was still without power. Other than that, everything else was back.
Fantastic. Police Department, you weren't here the last time that we talked about this. we're still looking for maybe an internet exchange area, because I know that's kind of what happened with the TD situation. Put that on your radar, please, something around Town Hall that is,
Doing cameras for.
yeah, something that is monitored. We actually do have the signs prepared, we've had them for a while. Oh, fantastic.
It's just a matter of getting the area that's under surveillance, with our current system that is in dire need of upgrading, so.
Well, we're on the path. All right. PET scanner? Can we get a PET scanner? Diane will write the check, whatever it costs.
I thought we had one, and right?
Nobody knows if we had one or not. Yeah, it's an unverified, we don't, right? I feel so bad looking at these little dogs online that, you know, trying to figure out who's coming home without their dog, when literally just beep, chirp them and.
The thing with the PET scanner is though, it just gives you the code. It doesn't tell you what type of chip it is, so I don't know if you have to get access to the different systems to actually be able to get that information. It's like, it just gives you the license plate number. And then you get to the system that actually, we can run the number, get the information out of it, tell you to give it to us directly, or, you know.
All right, see, that's
Yeah.
I thought then we partnered with somebody to do this. At one point in time, we definitely did. I thought we did.
I mean, right now, we're using the shared services for animal control.
Oh, it must have been through our old animal control then.
They used to take the, you know.
I thought they partnered, and I'm just throwing this out, it must have been with our old animal control. I thought they partnered with a local vet in the area that did it for us.
We can call them tomorrow.
We still deal with the vet.
Yeah. Oh, so
Maureen will call, we'll call Plainfield tomorrow.
we'll figure,
Yeah.
This is one of those like low-lying fruit things that will really, no, seriously, you know what I mean? It's like one of these low-lying, like hanging softball that, you know, will make a huge difference for the town and their dogs and stuff. All right, thank you.
no brainer.
I had a meeting with Commissioner Dellisfort a week ago. She is not sure where the miscommunication was between the county and the state and the paving of Mizell. It's being worked on, okay? I don't know what else to say. It is being worked on for the 100th time, but we are still trying to get it paved. The bidding for the lights went out, 630,000 or something like that for the lights for Mizell. We will see lights for Mizell. And we asked for cleanup for the park and the pond from the county
We just,
last week.
in the past, Bryant Park has been brought up. Not necessarily our town, right? That's located in Summit.
Summit.
So I know some people online bring up, not Mizell sometimes gets mentioned, but Bryant Park gets mentioned a lot. And unfortunately, not our town and a county park system.
Right.
But we do get a lot of questions on Bryant Park.
I did see the signs up at Bryant that said dredging's about to commence, or they have a,
They were, actually, this morning I passed it early and there was a county truck, or there was a truck there backed in, working, so they were doing something already. But yeah, that waterway is clogged. You look at it, it's just completely
Stagnant.
covered. Yeah.
so anybody who out there's asking about Mizell Field, we are trying. We have, I had a 3-hour meeting with her, I believe, you know, over a week ago. And I'm trying. We're all trying. With that said, anything else?
That's it.
All right, let's go on to minutes then.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to approve the regular meeting minutes and executive meeting minutes of May 28, 2024, as emailed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. New business.
This is for second reading, ordinance 2024-09. This ordinance amends the existing ordinances governing certain employment positions and establishes compensation levels for the position of forester within the Township of Springfield.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-09 as read by Madam Clerk with publication in the local source on July 3rd, 2024.
I will second that.
Okay. Anybody from the public wishes to come up and speak on ordinance 2024-09, come on up.
we ever questioned why we needed a forester, tonight should answer that question.
Yeah. Yeah, we spoke about this last week or 2 weeks ago. I don't see anybody coming up. Anybody, no questions up here? No. Okay. Roll call, please.
Committeeman Kaiser?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laufer?
100%.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Mayor Weber?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-11. This ordinance amends provisions of the Township Code to create the position of Leave Replacement Clerk Administrative Assistant.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-11 as read by Madam Clerk, with publication in the local source on June 27, 2024. Second.
Okay, any public comment on ordinance 2024-11?
I think, John, in my opinion, I think we should have John explain this.
Okay, could you explain it one more
Yeah,
time?
this is just, we're creating bench players so that if somebody is out on an extended leave for medical or something, we've got some people that we can call in. They're kind of queued up, so we can bring them in just as a replacement. And it's only for a short period of time. They're less than 20 hours a week.
So we don't fall behind.
Right,
Services
exactly.
continue get
That's exactly.
delivered for the residents.
And again, this is just so that when it happens, we're not scrambling. We're just trying to get some things in place in anticipation that inevitably it's going to happen to us.
Okay.
Yep.
Roll call vote, please.
Committeeman Kaiser?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laufer?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber? Mayor Weber?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2024-12. This ordinance amends the existing ordinances governing certain employment positions and establishes compensation levels for such positions within the township.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-12 as read by Madam Clerk, with a publication in the local source on June 27, 2024. I will second that.
Okay?
All right, public comment from anybody out there? Seeing none, any questions up here?
Nope.
No.
Nope. All right, roll call, please.
Committeeman Kaiser?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laufer?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber? Mayor Weber?
Yes.
Okay. A lot of resolutions.
Yeah, I'm actually just taking a quick look through them right now. If anybody has anything that they want to pull,
You're gonna read through them, or can we just tell you?
we're just gonna go.
I'm gonna pull, I just wanna pull 164. I just have a question.
Okay.
And I'm gonna pull, 174.
164 and 174. Do we have to pull 175 in conjunction with that one, then?
If you want to.
All right, then pull 175 also. Anybody else got anything?
Nope.
I'm good.
All right,
no.
and we're gonna go with, we'll go for resolutions, consent agenda, resolutions 2024-156, 2024-157, 2024-158, 2024-159, 2024-160, 2024-162, 2024-163, 2024-165, 2024-166, 2024-167, 2024-168, 2024-169, 2024-170, 2024-171, 2024-172, 2024-173, 2024-176, and 2024-177.
So moved. Second.
Okay, Committeeman Kaiser?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laufer?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber? Mayor Weber?
Yes.
Okay, Resolution 2024-164. This resolution approves the renewal of plenary retail consumption licenses.
So, I think you have to move it through first, so I'll make a motion to move, resolution 2024-164. Second. And then before we vote, just a question, I know the change of the law,
is this their first renewal? And I don't know if, Mr. Dowd, you have an answer. I think they get 2 years to renew if it's a pocket license. Am I correct?
That law will change, I believe, August 1st, 2025, so they have 2 years. But
We can look into that in terms of when,
yes,
I don't have an answer to that off the top of my
Yeah, no. So that's why I'm just, you know what, I would totally forget in the future
ABC didn't have an answer for it either when we asked them.
to-
Right,
to-
Maureen?
to bring it up, so I just noticing it now, bringing it up, and I don't know how many pocket licenses we
4.
currently have, but 4,
Or
that-
5.
that's quite a lot, and certainly if we could get those back into circulation, that's 4 businesses that could attract quite a bit of an economic and fun in town, so.
After July 21st, we will not have a restaurant with the bar except for Outback.
Wow. Wait, the one on 22 is closing, what's the other one, Longhorn?
No, oh, Longhorn too, yeah.
But,
Yeah, but we have like 4.
Yeah, not much.
And we do have the hotel also.
Yeah, the sooner we can get licenses back out on the street.
And I think we got a pretty good chance once the Gomes building finishes, because that was the idea, actually, those ones on the first floor in the corners were restaurants, so we'll keep our fingers crossed.
So the only liquor license that's in effect right now is Baltusrol?
No, Baltusrol, the hotel, Outback, and Longhorn, the Elks.
Oh, okay.
No, these are the last 2 that needed to be renewed.
okay. No, my question was on the other things, so. No, thank you.
Okay, roll call, Committeeman Kaiser,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laufer,
Yes.
Committeeman Huber, Mayor Weber.
Yes.
Okay, Resolution 2024-174. This resolution authorizes a shared services agreement with Township of Berkeley Heights for CFO and purchasing agent services.
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2024-174 as read by Madam Clerk.
Second.
I just wanted to pull just to discuss, or kind of make a point. Every year, I think the township is always peppered, and rightfully, with the question, hey, what are we doing to shared services? And hey, a lot of shared services have been in place for a long time, whether it's with the Board of Education, whether it's with neighboring communities, and sometimes they don't certainly get highlighted as such. I think this is one where shared service, once again, I think they're always a win, but this is certainly a win for the township and the taxpayers of our town, and certainly proves the point every year and every single day our administration is looking at ways to do shared services and make it a win for not only us, but another community. And I think this highlights it. This resolution, right, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, would allow us to share our CFO and purchasing agent with Berkeley Heights. Berkeley Heights is a much smaller community, and in tandem with us is a size certainly that can be handled by one individual. So our CFO working in both communities is a win for both communities' taxpayers. It's a win for our state, especially because we know that there are more municipalities than certified CFOs throughout the state. So there wouldn't be necessarily a CFO for every community, couldn't have one. And it wouldn't make sense for communities our size to have independent CFOs necessarily anymore. So I think this is a win. We understand that I think Springfield comes first, right? in this agreement. We're not selling out for a diminishing services. We're ensuring that Springfield's first in this. Always putting Springfield first, to take a phrase from a neighboring community. We're ensuring that we're getting something for this, right?
Yes.
This is offsetting existing costs and bringing in more money for our community. And it's allowing our own individuals, because they do such a, right, one of the best, one of the best ways, right, there's a Yankee way, right? There's a Springfield way. People understand that the work we're doing here and that the people who work for us are not only well-respected and have a knowledge base, but that they want them. And that shows that we're doing a good job, that people are trying to attract our employees, and I've always thought that's a good thing, because it just shows how good of a community we are. So it's a win on all the three fronts. So I'm pretty proud that we put this together, and that we're going to be able to work with a neighboring community to get this done.
Could not agree more.
Okay, roll call. Committeeman Kaiser?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laufer?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber? Mayor Weber?
Yes.
Resolution 2024-175. This resolution authorizes additional compensation to Diane Cherry in connection with shared services agreement between the Townships of Springfield and Berkeley Heights for Chief Financial Officer and Purchasing Agent Services.
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2024-175.
Second.
Same comments, Stan.
Committeeman Kaiser?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laufer?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber? Mayor Weber?
Yes. Okay. Zero discussion and action items, so and let's go pay some bills with finance.
I love talking. This agenda fitted me perfectly.
Fit you in perfect.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Payroll and invoice. Literally, I think that might have come off as sarcastic, but no, I just give me the microphone all the time. I'll make a motion to adopt payroll and invoices for the period of June 12, 2024 through June 25, 2024 in the amount of $4,865,145.54.
Second.
Committeeman Kaiser?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laufer?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber? Mayor Weber?
Yes.
And everybody should have received the May budget report, the May pool budget report, the May revenue report, and the May pool revenue report, and that should be filed accordingly.
All right, we have no correspondence, and I'm going to move on to public comment on any governmental issue. If anyone in the audience has any comment on any governmental issue, I did not receive any from email. Seeing none here, I'm going to close public comment on governmental issue.
Mayor, I was going to say, I know we had a question at the last meeting
Oh.
on the intersection up at, by Scotty's. I don't know, John, did you want to comment on that, Captain? I know Ryan and you
Oh,
guys, I
okay.
thought you looked at that.
Wait, could you come up to the mic? I'm sorry, because,
Yeah, no one's going to hear that.
yeah, we'll get roasted for that.
So several of the items we already took care of. We reached out to DOT. They corrected some of the missing panels on the traffic signals. DPW cut down a tree that was partially obstructing one of the signals. We're looking at the situation with the bus stop still blocking that signal. There's really not a good spot for them to put it at this point, but we're dealing with DOT with that. We're doing a traffic study at the corner of Baltus Roll and Crescent. That was one of the issues too. Apparently, the vehicles are traveling at an excessive rate of speed through there, so our traffic officer set up a device. We're measuring the speeds right now. And once we get the results from that, we'll be able to see what we're gonna do. If there's anything that we need to mitigate that. So that's where we stand with that right now.
I'm going to give you an FYI. As a car guy, I went up to that business and I said, listen, some of the clientele here is I don't know what's happening. And I said, we are going to be ticketing anyone and everyone up there. And they said, go ahead. They've warned, those businesses have, that business specifically says they have warned These drivers,
Oh, you're talking about the speed shop up there? Oh, this is a different situation.
yeah, I went up there, I went up there purposely, and I said, listen, I'm going to you as a car guy. I don't want to see your business fail. I want to see you succeed. But the complaints we are getting from all the residents over there, and I think I told him, I said, we will station the police there and hammer you day and night until this ends. And he said, I have told them over and over again, please do not drive out of here like that. Do what you have to do. So I did try.
Well, we've been doing a lot of enforcement out there already up to this point. We've been focusing on specifically the loud exhausts. Unfortunately, it's not only that business, you know. Obviously, they're a contributing factor, but it is a problem everywhere with these cars being tuned specifically to make the popping exhausts. So.
Sounds like gunfire, sounds like everything, and I get it, but, you know, people don't want to hear that when it's 10 o'clock at night and they're trying to put the kid to bed.
No, not at all. Hey, it's certainly a great hobby, and they have some cool cars, but you got to do it respectfully. But hey, to that point, I stopped with a friend there for gas, and I couldn't. The gas attendant there was probably one of the nicest people that you would ever find. He was like the nicest guy.
No, they were all very friendly and I you know, receptive to me being there, but I did tell them, we will put a police car here 24 hours a day if we have to, because it's got to stop. But also, I do recognize, me living at the bottom end of Morris Avenue, they're coming from Union, Elizabeth, they're coming from all over, and it is just relentless. So, thank you for your efforts on that.
We'll continue. Anything else?
No, not with you. Not with you. No, thank you.
No? Okay, so at that point.
One more comment.
Go ahead.
Just, hey, you closed up shop with the softball, but two comments to that. One, and not that they're here, but it certainly reflects on the record, and maybe they'll hear after. One is to Coach Rennie. I had the pleasure of having him as my fourth grade teacher. So while no one, he certainly gets highlighted as a great coach, but he shed light on his assistant coach, but there's no one honestly even better than him as a mentor. And still some of his finest memories to today are in his fourth grade class, and what he taught us as really young kids, and taught us how to be and how to act and just how to go about your life. And that really does, you know, there's so many lessons in life, but there's a lot that I point to in fourth grade at a young age when he molds you and he tells you how to be. So there's no one greater for our community, for our student athletes, and what he gives to the school at Caldwell. And he's honestly just one of the greatest people that I have ever met, and somebody that I don't know if he necessarily remembers me in that fourth grade class, but I can tell you that he made a memorable impression on me, and I'm sure with every other student athlete and student at Caldwell now. So thank you to Coach Rennie. And number two, as a student athlete myself, there is nothing in this world, you know, at that time in your life, some of those games and some of those tournaments are very stressful. And, you know, you might, I can't wait until the season's over. But once you're done with it, there's nothing like it. And I'm still to this day trying to find that same, as somebody that is competitive and likes to win. Yep. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there's still to this day, I still can't find that same edge that I had in high school sports. So live it, cherish it, because you're going to want to get back to that one day. And there's no greater high than, trust me, win or lose, there's no greater high in that competition that you're, you know, doing with your fellow athletes. And it's just still, I wish I could go back.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And I don't want to sleep on it because, you know, I didn't want to put baseball in it specifically. Baseball was state sectional champions this year.
Good.
But they've also won that, I think, a few years ago. So this was something that was not done.
Special.
But congratulations, baseball. I didn't want to ignore you, but.
Oh, my thunder. I was going to
Oh, go
Dayton
ahead.
baseball.
I'm sorry.
As a former Dayton baseball player, I think I played left bench. And Coach Abate is a great coach. And congratulations to them. Dayton baseball has been a highlight for Dayton sports. It is a pleasure to still watch Dayton baseball do well.
We have some good people. Abate, Rennie,
All of them teach at Caldwell.
great guys. Caldwell was fantastic.
I mean, as a Sandmeyer kid, this really hurts, but
All right. With that said, we are looking to go into executive session.
Resolution 62524, whereas Article 6 of the Open Public Meetings Act provides that a public body may hold a closed session, and whereas the Township Committee will, during this meeting, enter into discussion of the following matters: attorney-client privilege and potential contract negotiation, library, attorney-client privilege and personnel, attorney-client privilege and potential contract negotiations, redevelopment.
motion.
Whereas
Second.
matters to be discussed in closed session are to remain in the strictest of confidence by all committee members in furtherance of their fiduciary duties to the township. Now therefore be it resolved, matters discussed at this meeting will be released to the public when the reasons for discussing and acting upon them in closed session no longer exist. Harris?
Motion.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
And we'll be taking no action.
No action.